Hi Priyanka, it's so nice to have you here at this magnificent place of Kundan Bookstore. So, tell us your plans for today and how would we proceed?
Okay, so first of all, I'm very blessed to have you who will take my interview. And today I'll be telling you about my book and the questions you'll be asking. Of course, I'll be true to myself and true to you also. But as this is a fictional story, so you never know what stories are made up.
That's not a problem. That's all that we ask for the authors to be true to themselves, and fiction is another way of reality that we live in. So, let's hope that proves to be true. So, to be honest, when I first read the title Behind the Smile, I was reminded of this beautiful quote from Twisted Love, a book by Anna Huang, the first book in its series. Too often, behind that smile of mine, I hide 1,000 tears. And this was said by character Alex Volkov, and that remains in my heart forever. So, starting off with that quote, I feel blessed to be talking to you about such a great book. From its title itself shows how much pain and suffering that the world has, and how many of us, almost all of us, go through our lives just hiding our pain behind a smile. So, first of all, such a notion is often a trait of an overthinker, and that contributes to everyone being a writer in some form. So, did you always want to be a writer?
I didn't know that I'll be a writer or not, but a part of me, yes, always wanted to be in writing. I had the love for literature and English from my primary class. I loved to compose poems and songs by myself. I used to show it to my English teacher, but my mom used to say that, what are you doing, you should be studying, why are you into all these things? But yes, I knew it that I have to write someday the story of mine.
So, this story of yours, is it, what genre would you categorize into?
I would categorize into realistic fictions because you don't know what actual reality is, because everyone hides something somewhere somehow, and no matter how detailed information you want to give to the world, there's a part of something or that moment which will always left behind, and you can't describe or decipher that in any language, even though how hard you try.
That's true. An English honors student myself, I find that to be extremely true to the self, because every one of us, we have such things that we want to release, that catharticness that we are always looking for. So, how did this idea of a book come to you?
Okay, so I have always seen my mother working so hard, struggling just to give a better life to me and my sister. And just so you know, I have a living inspiration in my life, and I know I have to make a better life for herself. And when my career is writing and I am involved into it, so why not choose the platform of describing her story as a motivational and a inspiring story to the world. So she is my living inspiration for this book.
It's great to have such inspirations, or as we call the role models in our life. So, since primary standard, we are being taught, if you have to write an essay, who would be your inspirational character or your role model? So, we always choose people like a mother, a father, or some fictional characters. So, it's nice to be presented with such a lovely book which is based on a real life scenario. So, could you inspire us with a summary of the book?
Yeah, so of course I won't give you a detailed summary because you have to figure it out after reading the book. But the thing I can tell you, this story is based on a single mother who is the protagonist of the story, that how she fights with the social prejudices, discrimination based in this world, that a single mother is not enough and capable than that of doing that much without a male member. This is a perception society has framed and imposed over us, and it becomes and makes things hard for people to live. And how she overcome everything and turned a beautiful life for her daughters, and her daughters turned out to be her strength. So it's full of ups and downs, but okay, you have to know and feel after reading the entire thing.
So, would I be correct in assuming that this book is a physical part, a physical representation of you?
Kind of.
Kind of, okay. I'm getting the feeling that once we read it and once people get to know you, that's where the discrepancies would start. That we would start to imagine and get to realize
Yes,
the
you can.
activities and the figurative parts.
You can relate at so many parts, at so many points. You can relate to the situations if you have ever faced something like that, or you can just step into the boots and feel like what they are feeling in that story if you haven't seen that in your life, and you'll actually realize how things can be difficult. It is from the perception of the youngest daughter, so even though the protagonist is the mother, but you are reading the story from the youngest point of view, that what she feels about her mother, how she have perceived. So basically I am the youngest in my family, and this is my perception towards how its stories goes. So of course situations are not as detailedly described as it should have been, but I have tried my best to describe and make it a story more like, I prefer not to have a sympathy or pity kind of structure, so I don't like people to think it as a very sad or something to mourn or have a sorrow over, but to take it strength from this.
My next question would have been to ask you, are there any personal elements in your book? But I figured you just answered that.
Yeah.
So, moving on, a book is a spiritual journey for both the readers and the writers. So, what metamorphoses have you experienced and you have felt within yourself after this book?
Well, if you'll talk about spiritual journey, yes, it is. Because even though you have seen those situations or you have been in, whenever you are writing it, you are experiencing it again. So I don't know when you'll read it what your reaction will be, but I can surely tell you that the moment I was writing the situations I have creating or I felt those again, and I cried while writing the story. I have bled on the papers. But it's just so true that we say that writing is just that we bleed on the pages. So it definitely connects you spiritually and emotionally to the pages, and it is a beautiful journey, though it can take you to the highest and lowest points, but it is there with you to support you at every point.
You just mentioned the highest and the lowest point. So, could we get a sneak peek of that?
I guess you have to figure out and judge on your basis which you think the highest and lowest parts can be, because everyone have their own perception. Everyone have their own traumas and own past which triggers them. So a thing which can be a minute disturbance for you can be the lowest for someone else, and with a thing which can be a normal happiness can be the highest. So it depends on the person and how they perceive situations and how they have been in. So yeah, it has ups and downs, but it depends on you what you think and how better you think it can be.
Okay, and what was the hardest part for you to write in this book?
I guess the beginning, that how the father leaves the family when the youngest was way too small. I was not able to comprehend the exact emotions because I haven't felt those exact emotions.
You being too small and too
Yeah.
young to figure
So it was kind of confusing, but trying to experience what I have actually felt. Maybe I have suppressed it way too deeper that I am not able to bring it back to life. But when I was writing, it came back to life and it hit me really hard.
I can see sitting here in front of you that your expressions, you're really connected to this book,
Yes,
and it
definitely.
speaks from your heart. So I guess when you all read this book, you will be speaking to us from your heart to our hearts. Many have faced a writer's block that every writer at some point of time eventually feels. So your suggestions or any advice to all the other writers out there on how to ascribe from it?
See, I won't say that you shouldn't face it or you have to overcome it. No, if you let yourself write for hours, then give yourself time to break. Give yourself a break. Procrastination is a good thing. I won't say you have to delay everything, but no, it gives peace to your mind. It gives you a time to relax, to think about what your next move gonna be. And same as physical workout, that your body needs time to recover to perform into a competition, mental workout is same, and it is also necessary for you to take a break so that you can write a better thing and come up with come up with a beautiful story and you can just dive into it. So it's okay to have a writer's block. It's okay to procrastinate things. Give yourself time to think, and everything just falls on the path.
On the topic of procrastination, the world is seeing so much of it nowadays, whether in literally in every aspect. All of my friends and yours even, I'm sure, they have been telling stories. Yeah, I'm procrastinating a lot in this year. So would you say procrastination is always a good thing apart
See,
from
there is
this? And what situations should we relate ourselves to it?
There's a difference between being lazy and being procrastinating. Some people say that I'm procrastinating. Actually, they are just being lazy. They know what they have to do. They have the things to do it. They have execution in their mind, but they are just afraid to take a step. That's not procrastination. That's your self-control and your emotions stopping you to performing your things into action, because your emotional mind is getting heavier on your logical mind. That's what happens, and that's not procrastination. That's just being lazy and not having proper self-control. Procrastination is when you are actually not able to step forward, because you have to make the things which you have already done to be better and to be concrete, so that you can take the next step forward. So you have to make sure that the steps you have already taken are proper and concrete, so that when you are putting another layer to it, the rest of the work won't fall apart. So it's necessary to give a shape, to refine the things, refine the diamonds you have already curated in order to get the best price in the market. And it's okay to wait for that market price to go higher. You don't have to hurry or rush it.
True. So can we see aspects of your procrastination in this book? And where did you sort of perform it?
You won't be able to guess where I have procrastinated the stories, but yeah, I did take a time for myself when I was more than halfway through the book and I know what I have written so far. Then I got that writer's block, and I was procrastinating not for just a few days or weeks, but for even months. I have taken that gap, and I was just trying to figure out what's going on in my mind. At some time I was like, it's okay to procrastinate, but when it went longer, then I knew that I have to do something to overcome it, because things can't wait. People usually say that good things come to those who wait. No, good things come to those who act
And grab those opportunities.
Yeah, instead of actually waiting. So
just one more question. In this series, how long did it take for you to write the whole book? Any time duration that you can get?
if you want to ask the situation, it's been curating the story from years, from 2007 scenario. But if you ask about just writing and penning it down, then yeah, I'll say the COVID scenario has helped me to give my thoughts a break, and my friend scolded me to utilize my time and to finally get into writing when I have stories in my mind. So it took more than a year or so, but the stories have been there for years.
Then maybe we all have a learning lesson to learn, both from Corona and procrastination.
Yeah.
Okay, so publishing. This is your first book. So how did you navigate the waters of publishing?
Of course, as being a first-time author, I definitely wanted to get selected by traditional publishers, which is the dream of every writer, to get selected by highest publisher and get their name and their logo on our book. So I wanted that too, but it's not that easy to be selected by them, because I don't know, you have to be very concrete and they should approve your proposal and agents and everything. I didn't have that sort of knowledge what I have to do in order to get accepted, but I did write proposal. It got rejected. Of course, rejection is another step towards new opportunity, so it was fine. And when it comes to private publishers, they cost a lot, and depending on the package you are pursuing, and keeping our financial scenarios and everything in limit and in my mind, I stepped towards the self-publishing. I read a lot on internet that how I can step ahead into self-publishing, how there are a website, Notion Press and the Pencil app, which helps in self-publishing the books, and you don't have to pay upfront, but the sales will make profits. And sometimes, the delivery charges, printing, everything costs way too much, so the profit scenario isn't that much. But this story was for me to let others know about the life, the struggles, and instead of getting profit, I was more focused on letting others know about this book and the story. That's why I published it on Amazon KDP as well, on worldwide level. It got posted on different international sites which are in different languages as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And this was the scenario, because you don't have to look for success, you just have to keep working, and success come by its side effect.
And that, guys, is what we call a good Samaritan. It's truly amazing. And sitting here in this beautiful bookstore with that lovely scenery out there, you glowing in your pink and black outfit,
I just wanted to match with my book.
that you sure do. That feels amazing both for you and for me. And I'm always interested by authors. They have always piqued my interest, because I, being a writer, but I don't have the patience for writing. So my favorite question for all the authors there is a line or a quote that has stuck by you in all the times, whether good or bad. So could you provide me with that quote of yours?
The one, I literally got goosebumps by thinking about that quote, because it has lived in me. And no matter, like, someone will ask me what the quote you live by or have in your mind, that always stays. It's from the book Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's thought becomes things. So what you think, it will become true. So you have to carefully think about what you are thinking, because your thoughts will bring you into action, but don't let your action contradict your thoughts. Because if you want to achieve or get first position in your class, you can't just sit and there thinking about it, because thought become things. You have to work on it, and your actions should support your thoughts to bring those results.
So am I safe to assume you believe in manifestation too?
Yes, at an extent. And I think it's not just for saying, but because the powers do exist, the law of attraction, the power of universe, the power of gratitude. It's not just for saying. Everything has its worth, because words has its worth.
And this book is a product of your thought.
Yeah, definitely. I have thought and lived this moment I don't know how many times, and I'm here giving my interview to you.
Now you have certainly piqued my interest, and I'm definitely gonna be picking this book and just get myself lost into those pages. Any plans for a new book? Something more of you that we can grab?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I would love for you to read this book, and we'll get your opinions and feedback over this. And
Definitely.
secondly, yes, I am working on another new book which will be coming very soon, and I'm looking forward to it. And I have stepped into like different genre, because I don't want to stick to something particular. I want to explore everything, because it's never enough. No matter how much you read, no matter how many fields or criteria or topics you discover, there is something more than that. There's always more than that. Because there is a quote that knowledge is something, wisdom is something you can continually give away and still have more to spare. So it's a never endless thing.
That feels nice. Rather just hearing it, that literally stuck to my heart, and just feeling it over and over. Wow.
I hope you're impressed by my answers.
It's not a thing to be impressed. You can see and sense the truth from the words from the person sitting across from you. So I'm definitely getting that feeling of truth and of the heart that you have put into all of the stuff that you have read, that you have written, and I just want to get lost into it now. So thank you, Priyanka, for coming here. Behind the smile, that certainly brings me to imagine my own experiences of me hiding away the pain of situations that I felt. And of course, the situations might be different, but that basic feeling, I hope across all humans are the same. Thank you for being here. Thank you for providing me with your words.
Thank
and
you
your-
for having me to take your interview. And I hope you'll like the strength I have, the strength my mom have, you'll be filled with that strength and love and power and overcome any difficult situation. Firstly, I'll pray that you won't have any difficult situation, but if they come, just know that they are there to make you even more stronger and bring the best version of you.
Thank you so much, Priyanka.